David Brain. I'm a professor of sociology and environmental studies. I have a background in architecture as well, so my research and work has always focused on things related to the built environment, particularly the relationship between professions like architecture and planning. Well, I think the biggest dilemma is that we have a lot of really big questions that we have to answer about Sarasota's future, and we have some very tortured politics about it. And it's very difficult for us to have reasonable discussions about most of these things because it very quickly descends into these very sort of polarized positions that people take. I would like to see us have a much more aggressive and consistent approach to encouraging infill and redevelopment within the existing urbanized areas. I think for a variety of political reasons, we haven't really addressed the infill and redevelopment issues because the moment you start talking about those kinds of developments, you have, sort of instant opponents, organized neighborhoods who are scared that things are going to change for the worse. It's, as Victor Dover always says, it's possible for things to change for the better, and we have to make sure that they do. So the big problem is to build up that capacity in a community to feel like we can trust ourselves to manage change for the better, and trust ourselves well enough that we can actually enlist developers to be assets rather than always being regarded, by the citizens anyway, as the enemy. I would not generally be in favor of raising the height limitation. There's a number of reasons for that. What tends to happen, in fact it's happened across the country, is that ambitious cities set their height limitations too high, and what then happens is you get very tall buildings built that soak up the market in one spot, and you don't get an even attractive pattern of development. It's much better to keep the height restrictions relatively low and sort of squish the available market out. More housing options is often the key to affordability and increasing densities. I'm a renter, but people like us, we're not acceptable to be living downtown to some who own condominiums, and I think that's an issue, and we have to recognize that actually we've had this fetish for a long time about home ownership. You have to be a homeowner in order to be a legitimate citizen. Well, home ownership isn't the best idea for everybody, and it's certainly not the best way to ensure affordable housing. I would like to see a denser, more lively Main Street. We still have a ways to go. It became clear to me last night, that my friends from Miami say, it's like, what, it's 10 o'clock, and in Miami we'd be saying we better go out before the rush. And whereas where we were last night, they were closing down.